Welcome back to this episode of Bitch is a Bad Word. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm one mom with 4 kids and 0 fancy letters behind my name. I bring on all of the experts to help us unpack all of the experiences of toxic and abusive behavior and patterns as we navigate this road through and out of domestic abuse and toxic relationships together. Today, I have a baddie joining us. She is unapologetic, unfiltered, and emotionally slutty. And I love her for it. I'm here for all of it. Amy Watkins, she has the letters. She's an LPC. And she is going to help us unfuck ourselves and owning our truth, understanding the chaos, what childhood trauma looks like, and how we bring it into our relationships that end up being some of the most toxic ones of our lives. Amy Watkins, welcome to Bitch is a Bad Word.
Thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here.
I love everything about your Instagram. It is so inspiring. Obviously, I have to just start with the introduction of the Miss Emotionally Slutty. Like, that's right up my alley here. All the bitches in the Bestie Gang.
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know, wild, a little bit, what do you say, crass maybe, but it's very fitting to who I am. I had gone to a healing retreat one time and maybe overshared a little more than I had wanted to. And we'd gone on a break and came back and did a little check-in. And I felt a little like a vulnerability hangover. And we'd gone around and I said, I just feel a little, I don't know, emotionally slutty. And it just kind of stuck, and it became sort of the name of my book. And I was a little hesitant to put it on Instagram, but I think I'm really grateful that I did.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful you did, because it definitely made me stop and look. Mm-hmm. And I love your approach. You have a very unique approach to giving information to someone who needs it. I love the consistency of how you just like you're cold open, like, welcome to the messed up things that happen. Like, that's exactly what it is. I just threw my shit everywhere. You are just opening up as an absolute bestie and a baddie going through it saying, let me just show you, because if someone doesn't talk about it, no one knows that they're in it. We were just talking before the show opened, and it's like the insidious nature of all of this. You asked me, like, did you know this was post-separation abuse? Did you know? You don't know what you don't know. So I really want to encourage women to, like, who's listening right now saying, like, feeling bad about yourself. Like, how did I get into this situation? You didn't do it like feet first. It's like, you don't know what's happening until you can pull back and go, oh, this is really fucked up.
Yeah, I really didn't know. There's overt behaviors that are obvious, being physically hurt. For me, it was so covert. It was so subtle that I loved them both. I was married twice. I loved them both so much and thought they were the one. Yet I felt so uncomfortable and so walking on eggshells. I couldn't put my finger on it. I just didn't understand what was happening with the first one until I got out. And I was like, oh, something was really not right. And in the second one, I was much more aware, but I had no awareness that it was covert abuse while I was in it. So for me to share is really to show people the subtleness to it. Sometimes I actually share things and I'm like, I feel like still sometimes it's too subtle to put on Instagram, that people are still going to think that I'm crazy. That's how crazy I did feel. And those are the ones that hit the most, because people resonate and say, oh, I'm not crazy. So I feel like it's a message that needs to be shared.
It really is, because the red flags are not necessarily flogging you in the face.
No.
And so, and a lot of times, I mean, I think you were mentioning at some point that, you saw the red flags and you wanted to decorate your place with them. Like, and we're like, oh, look, this would be really cute over here. Look at these little red flag curtains.
Yeah.
And I resonate with that so much, because you come from a place of, maybe it's I'm going to ask you, since you have the letters behind your name, it comes from our unhealed childhood trauma.
Yeah. For me specifically, I was raised with a very abusive, very neglectful environment. So, very religious, cult like religion. I was made to be seen, not heard, really to comply. And so, when you grow up with those red flags and the chaos, there's no way it's not going to impact your relationships and how you move in the world. It's just not possible. You can't be fed chaos and abuse and neglect and then miraculously turn 18 and be like a well-adjusted adult. It's just not possible. So I moved into my adulthood after abuse and sexual abuse, thinking I was worthless, thinking my body was the only thing that I had to connect with people. And I was a prime target for a controlling, manipulative person. There's no other way. And we're going to keep meeting people using the patterns that we know until we start to heal our childhood wounds and start to believe about ourselves differently.
We talk a lot about being careful, feeling like home, if home was chaotic or home was abusive or home was just dysfunctional, because you really resonate. The person who reminds you of that life feels like, oh, well, this is safe. Excuse me, like this is chaos. Oh, that's how I live. That's how my family loved me. That's how we did things. And then that, the safe person, when you finally meet them, feels boring AF.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, there's like, you're weird. There's something really wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person who's just like wild, and I mean, again, overtly or covertly, just the chaos does something to your internal, like it's tricking you.
It lights up your nervous system.
Yes.
Yeah, it lights it right up exactly how you felt in your childhood home. They'll say you marry your mom or your dad, but you actually marry the emotional experience that you had in your childhood home. So if you remember always being in your bedroom or what you felt like in the living room, did you feel like lonely or isolated, or did you feel fear? Like those are the experiences you tend to get back into when you're in a relationship. Narcissism gets thrown around a lot, that word. It almost doesn't mean anything anymore. And I will say it's a spectrum and we're all on it. And so whether they are or they're not doesn't actually matter. What really is important is for us to go within and identify what the wounded part of us is that finds their behavior attractive or tolerable or acceptable. Because when we really deal with that, go back and look at the patterns, look where we came from, and figure out why we don't have any self-worth, why we don't love ourselves, then we can untangle all of this toxic narcissism stuff that we're stuck in.
Because the people around that toxic or pathological person that you've chosen to be your love of your life, they are all getting the icks. They are all like, this person's behavior is revolting. And you're like, what? What? No. Oh, you must have just caught them on a bad day. You know what? Maybe things didn't go so well at work. Oh, they're hungry. You're excusing their behavior like a freaking toddler who hasn't like had their nap or something. And everybody else around you is like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? But they're not, right? Because
Well, I would say yes and no. I had a lot of people have both experiences where everyone else thinks they're wonderful.
okay,
And
yeah.
then you're made to feel crazy because on the outside, their boss thinks they're wonderful or their family and friends think they're wonderful. And you're the only one that's experiencing this behavior.
Mm. So maybe
And
is that the difference between like a covert and an overt, or again, spectrum? We don't know.
well, I had the other experience, what you just shared, where everyone else thought, like, okay, what's happening here? Because that person's kind of off. They're off. And you're the only one that sees the good in them. But typically, I think most of the time, everybody else thinks they're wonderful. White picket fence and everything was lovely. Yeah.
There's a meme
Mhm.
going around on Instagram right now where it's like it's this guy's in the kitchen and he's just like raging at his wife. And then the doorbell rings and he opens the door and he's like, "Hi, welcome to my barbecue." And he's like, "Hey, honey, they're here." And it's like you get to see the inside of that moment before where you're like, this guy is horrible, but then they are able just like in a split second, just as if it's nothing. Oh, come
Mhm.
on in. We're all good. So that's the charming, side of things where it's really hard to probably go to other people and say, guys, I need to tell you how he treats me.
Yeah. That was my childhood. My dad was so into church. We'd be driving to church and he'd be screaming at us, right? He wouldn't speak to us except to scream at us, but then we'd walk into church like this big, holy Christian family. It was very disorienting to grow up that way. So everyone thought he was lovely, and I did not. Yeah.
And
Very
so then you
weird
just
emotions.
walk right into somebody just like that. So that's how easy it happens. Like, hey, baddie, we are building the biggest, baddest bestie gang, and it's popping off on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. We have free tiers, paid tiers. We even shed some real tiers. The paid for tiers get you ad free listening, BTS, merch drops, merch discounts, all the things. But the free tier is absolute money too. We also have a private Discord server where you can feel safe to share your story and meet a new bestie because we vet every single member. That's right. You need to show your ID to get up in this club. Visit patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. I can't wait to hang out with you there. So are we targeted or are we targeting?
I think we're targeted, but we also don't have an awareness of, right, if that's your childhood, if it's normal to be screamed at or normal to be manipulated, gaslit, right? I had a very strong sense that something was off in childhood. I was like, something's not adding up, but I can't put my finger on it because I was always to blame. It was always my fault. Work harder, fix it, walking on eggshells. Yeah. So when you get into a relationship, that's typical. It's Amy's fault. Work harder. It's easy to be manipulated. Go to therapy, work on it. You're broken. So it just kind of rolls over. Nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
That's your pattern. It's what you identify with. So it's not going to feel unnatural to have a partner scream at you or blame you for something if that's what you grew up with. So targeted, because if you share with them your childhood or share your norm, they're like, oh, well, I know how to use that. That'll be easy to
Mm,
weaponize. Hmm.
right. When they're taking inventory.
Yeah, they study you, they mirror you, they know what they're doing.
The studying is like, because you're indoctrinated, right? I guess you have all this stuff, then you bring it with you. And then it's obviously natural that you want to meet, like get to know your partner and share all those insights and those wounds. And I have never experienced a lashing to the heart and to the gut like I have when my biggest, deepest wounds were just ripped wide open, salt poured in them, fucking bleach poured in them, like whatever, and just thrown back in my face. It's next level. And I think it just ruins you to your core. It's brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal when you feel like you have found someone to really love and someone who really loves you, and they are just using you to get their needs met. The At the end, when you're finally untangling all of that and realize what you've put into it, because we love, right? We love
Mhm.
genuinely, and we're putting everything into it, working so hard. Untangling that is, it can feel like you're dying inside to realize you were duped. It's brutal.
It
Mhm.
is. And it feels because it's so conditional
Mhm.
as well. And that's like you see that and you as parents, I do like a lot of work to try to really break cycles and break bonds. And even just sometimes I'm like to my like, oh well, until you can't do this unless you do that. And I'm like, why am I saying it like that? I'm already setting them up. I'm already manipulating them to like nothing bad, like do your homework and or you don't get this. But it's like these subtle nuances that I really am trying to catch myself going, nope, that's not how we're going. Like I'm not going to teach you. I'm not going to be your biggest manipulator. Like the parent that I grew up with was like my first bully, was like the first person who wasn't good to me. And so then it's sort of, okay, well, this is how I've been treated. So this all makes sense. I'm really trying, like, in my big girl life, to notice those habits and be like, nope, this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to apologize authentically. I'm going to change the behaviors. I'm going to own it when I've need to own it, all these things. And then when you're doing it, you look back on your life, and I look back like, this isn't that hard. Why did you make it so hard? Why were you like, so why did you want to hurt me? Why'd you have kids if you didn't want to love your kids? Like, or whatever the thing is. But, you kind of look at it going, wow, you have to work really hard to treat someone that bad.
Well, I wish I had a pen. I wish I had a pen here. I guess I'll use this. I will often tell clients, right? This is a black pen, right? It's not good or bad. It's just black. It's like our parents. They're not good or bad. They're just our parents, right? They had parents that had parents that had parents, and they are doing the best that they can.
Mhm.
And sometimes their best is shit, right? And it's really, I would say that I did the very best that I could, and the best that I could was shit, because it's all that I learned was not being noticed. I wasn't taught anything. I wasn't given any tools. I was left in rooms alone and indoctrinated with religion, but no one taught me how to do life. So when I raised children, I didn't know how to connect with them. I was there. I spent time with them, but I was dissociated from my own trauma. So my mother was also dissociated from her own trauma, right? It doesn't make it right, but it just is. And I don't feel like I was born with a maternal instinct. It's not, I don't believe that it just is given to us. You have to connect with your mother to learn how to connect with your children. So
Mhm.
it's passed down. That generational trauma is passed down. So I hear what you're saying. It's not hard. And I think for some of us who are very traumatized, it can be really hard. So I caused my children a lot of pain and a lot of trauma that I have to really work hard to repair. For my girls, hopefully I get the chance to do that.
It's okay.
Thanks. That's still that's still tender. For my son, I've worked really hard to repair that. But, you know, when our parents come from really wounded places, which, my mother and father both came from really wounded places, and I don't have relationships. My father's gone, but my mother still wounds me, so I had to cut that off. Um, so yeah, it's not hard, and we have to be aware, but it's
Mhm.
important for us to deal with ourselves so that we don't pass it on to our kids. I didn't know.
Well, and you don't know what you don't know,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, I love that you said they're just parents. They're just doing their best. And, sometimes, I mean, I just have this, like, I love being a mom. Like, I love it. And I think maybe if I hadn't raised my younger brother when I was younger, when I should not have been doing that, maybe the maternal thing would have missed, because I didn't connect, I didn't have a connection with my mom. But I was so maternal to my younger brother. And so I forego gave a lot of childhood experiences that I should have had, not in these moments. And so coming in or having children was, let me take care of you. I love to take care of you. I don't need to take care of myself. I put you first. And so I do this with my kids, but I also found myself doing this with my partner, where it's like, I'm okay, whatever, my needs are not important. So then that's like, a pathological person is going to eat you for dinner and
Yeah.
breakfast and lunch and snacks,
Yeah.
because you're like, okay, it's okay. I'm okay just taking care of you, and we can worry about, or I don't even think you can worry about my needs later.
Hmm.
So as you said before, these people just solely want you to serve and meet their needs. Somebody that's used to doing self-serving self-sacrificing, you're like, okay, this feels okay. No, there's no real warning alarm bells going off because it's kind of what I do anyway.
Mhm.
And then you justify the behavior.
Yeah, you grew up, it sounds like self-abandoning. You took care of your brother, right?
Yes.
So where was room for Lindsay? Yeah. So
Yeah.
you carry that into your relationships and you're like, I can take care of you. I can do all those things. But then you do self abandon. And the way we start to heal the abandonment wound is actually to stop abandoning ourselves, which can feel initially like selfishness. Like, oh my gosh, you want me to actually put myself first? I've never done that since childhood. I wasn't allowed to even think of myself. That was, that was selfish. But actually, to start healing that abandonment wound, we have to think of ourselves first. Yeah.
And so when you have these unhealed childhood traumas, which we're learning, thank God there's people talking about this because
Mm-hmm.
it's super important. And we all know, it's never too late. You can always like course
Yeah.
correct, right? And do little simple things. But until that happens, we were talking about this, you sort of go from one pathological person to the other, to the other, to the other. And that's almost guaranteed, you were saying.
We will, right? We will keep repeating the pattern. I always will tell a client to take time after you get out of a relationship that is pathological to work on yourself, heal your wounds, because you're just going to attract another one. It's not going to look the same. They don't come looking like they're pathological. They come looking like the man of your dreams. And it's still going to end up being the same pattern until we heal the pattern. We keep repeating it until we learn our lesson. So I did, right? I got out of my first marriage and jumped right into the second one within just shy of 2 years. And I have a hard time knowing which one was worse, to be honest with you. I can't compare. I don't know. There's a toss up. But yeah, we just keep replaying the same pattern until we deal with ourselves.
Because our
Until
brains like patterns, right? This is what we're learning.
our
We
brains
love,
are wired. That's how we were wired as children. So we can't do something different until we deal with ourselves, until we learn where was Amy, where was Lindsay, and actually rebuild the self worth that was never given to us. Then we can go find a healthy partner that actually meets us on the same level. Like attracts like, unhealed
uh,
attracts unhealed, healed attracts healed. It's just how it works.
and then this term, it triggers me because I was told this a lot. Like, you don't meet my needs.
Mm.
Is that someone's job in a partnership, in a relationship, to be meeting the need? Like, what does that mean to you? If you've heard that before?
I think we're really aware of the other person, but we really are needing to care for ourselves. It shouldn't hurt me to take care of you.
Okay.
So we really are caring for our own needs and then aware of our partner. It's not my job to meet the other person's needs or for them to meet my needs. I'm a whole person, they're a whole person, and we complement one another. So if we, our broken pieces sort of meet each other perfectly.
Mhm.
The idea is I heal myself, they heal themselves, and we come together this way. It's less codependent, less needy, if you will. So then we complement each other. It's not a grabby, needy sort of place. If that
Which
makes sense.
makes you feel like, oh, I'm so in love. Like, I like everything that they're telling me. It's us against the world, and I'm so in that. We don't need anything else but just each other, and it's just this like manic love feeling,
Yeah,
and that's not good, folks.
that's a romance and not a real love. Love is consistency and safety. It's not needing something from someone to feel whole. You're a whole person and they're a whole person, and you're kind of doing life together. If you're needing someone to complete you, you still have some work to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea of the thought too of going, okay, this, you complete me. That fucking line in Jerry Maguire. We all fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. We're like, we need it. He was musing the shit out of her.
I know.
And, you're like, wait, no, let's go back and rewrite that story. I really find that not only it's our pathways and all the way that we're learning that we're wired and conditioned and programmed to receive love. But it's all the Disney culture. It's all the
Oh,
things that we were watching. It's everything that you're like, wow, as a woman or as a young girl, waiting for your prince to come and save you, waiting for, and you just sit there and look pretty. You have to look pretty.
have you seen some of those Disney memes, like Ariel and Little Mermaid, who gave up
Yeah.
her voice for the man, or like Belle was, I don't know, with the Beast, he literally captured her. Have you seen that? There's
Oh
a whole
yeah.
meme, there's a whole series for Disney, and I was like, oh, the brainwashing for our girls or boys is
Yeah.
insane. The things that we've taught our children or we learned ourselves
Right.
about
Like
what
Ariel,
love
like
is,
literally gave up her, like got legs, like
and
to
gave up her
in
voice.
her voice
Gave
to
up
please
her
this
voice.
person. Yeah. Like
Yes.
the giving up the voice is huge. Cause I've talked about this before on the show where I'm like, the pathological person is Ursula and they just like want your voice and because you have not healed your shit, you'll give it to them
Mhm.
so that you can please.
Yeah.
And we're aiming to please. Like ugh, I don't want to please anybody anymore. I don't want to do that. I actually want to walk into a room one day and be like, ugh, nope, not having it, not doing it.
Yeah.
And not be called a bitch and not be called selfish.
Well, I think that if you're called a bitch and called selfish, it just doesn't matter. What people think about you is none of your business.
Thank you. Say it
I,
loud for the besties in the
I
back. Do you hear
yeah,
that?
I'm happy if someone considers me a bitch now, or uh, I spent too many years caring what people thought. Now I just don't. My peace is too important. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you. Because we've abandoned ourselves. We've given up our peace. We're with these pathological people and these people want to hurt you. If you do not comply, that same person who made you feel on top of the world cannot wait to see you in the underbelly and disappeared and never heard from again. Like they're like the discard is freaking real.
Well, the on top of the
And
world is just part of the cycle. It's not
okay.
real. It's not real. Right. It's just the part that keeps you, it's the bait, and the bad part is the hook. So it's just part of the cycle. It's not actually real.
Let's just sit with that for a second because that is such a I've not heard that yet on the show. I hear the bait because we know they're all masturbators,
Yeah.
but
We'll throw you a little bit of good, right? You get
yep.
kind of baited in, and it's kind of like throwing the fishing line in, right?
Mhm.
And then you get hooked and you're pulled in, and you just wait for more. They throw you a little bit of bait.
Think about that fish when you're reeling them in. They're like literally suffering and choking to death, like waterboarding. Like that's what like you're being
Literally,
waterboarded.
literally. But we're so wired to wait for more bait, and the bait becomes less and less and less. I
Yeah.
heard somebody made a comment on Emotionally Slutty. Oh, I wish I could. She was so beautiful. And she said eventually the bait becomes so little, they actually just sprinkle a little water on you so that you just stay alive a little bit. Like you just flop around a little bit. And I was like, whoa, that's so profound. But yeah, the love bomb becomes so tiny, the breadcrumb becomes so tiny that eventually you think a text from them is love. It's so gross.
And you are prostituting yourself. We've talked about this. You become also the other side of the emotionally slutty person. You're just like, you're desperate for them. And then this is where the ruminating happens. This is where like the cycle in your own mind is like, what the hell did I do? Like, how do I get that person back? How do I get the first day guy back? Where'd he go? Well, first day guy never existed. As we know, it's a fantasy. So you're never going to get him back. You're chasing a phantom, like mirage. What is it called? A mirage. It's not
Mm-hmm.
real.
Yeah,
So I
he's
think
not
the
real.
sooner we can get there, which is so
Mm-hmm.
hard. I sit here now going, well, get there, guys. Let's get there, besties. It's not easy to do. It's like just what you do on your show or on your Instagram where you're saying like these little nuances. Where you had one, I loved one. I wrote it down because birthdays and family vacations.
Mm.
Let's talk about those. Those are our favorite. Like, let's talk.
Yeah, that first So the first relationship, I really did feel just kind of like a maid and someone there to do everything. And I felt very sort of second class citizen. So the birthdays, he would get up on my birthday morning and be like, hey, I'll be right back. Of course, I knew where he was going to grab the birthday card. It was nothing meaningful in it. I always felt like, I would say forethought is to me what foreplay would be to you, like put a little something into it. Never clicked. And family vacations, money was so important, so greedy, right? So we'd go on vacation, but it's not a vacation if I've got to clean. I'm just cleaning in a different zip code. Like I'm not getting a vacation, but you are. It just was all about him.
I love that you said I'm just cleaning in a different zip code, because it just spawned this thought. I used to say this all the time, which I do not feel this way anymore, but I would be like, I hated vacations. And I would say out loud, like, well, it's like a more inconvenient place to be with the kids.
Yeah.
Because then I'm thinking now going, wait, it was only inconvenient because they didn't really want me to have anything like 100% of a vacation until it was like, they sort of looked around going, I guess I should let you go get a massage. I've been gone for the whole day or whatever, like whatever it was, like, well, you got a massage. Yeah. But like, I think it sucks to get a massage and come back and have to do shit.
Like, right.
Okay. I could have got a massage at home too.
Yeah.
But I used to feel that same way. Like, it's just more like, I don't like vacations. They're inconvenient. It's like, I'd rather be at home, but now I'm like understanding that I'd rather be at home because it didn't make like, they're going to ruin it. It's going to be stressful. And then it's like stressful in another environment, which creates more chaos.
Yeah. There was so much, it was very cheap way of living. He micromanaged money. I never knew how much we made. I knew he made a lot, but he would give me an allowance, or when he got a bonus, I would get what he would call fun money. He'd give me a little bitty portion to play with. It was, isn't that kind? So nice. When we split, there was, I'll let you know what you could have. And because of where I came from, I believed him. There's a lot of comments on my page about why didn't you get the family home? And why did he get to keep it? Because I didn't know. I was so naive and I believed him. And I was also afraid of him. For a very long time, I was terrified. My nervous system would just light up around him. And I didn't have a voice, right? I gave it away. Never even had it. So there was a lot involved that I just really want people to know who are living it, that don't even have the awareness. A lot is religious conditioning and a lot is just, trauma, which, I mean, religion is trauma if you ask me, but people just don't know. And I want them to be aware.
The comments about you, like, why didn't you keep the house? Why didn't you do this? I mean, again, you don't know, even if you're in it and you're sitting here listening right now and you're like, yep, all these boxes I'm ticking. I know I'm in this relationship. You, unfortunately, and fortunately for listening, we're going to teach you some things that I wish I had known. That's the entire goal of the show. And that's the entire goal of your social media presence, is that you can't understand their behavior because you would never do it. It's like, so every time something crazy would happen, I'm like, what the hell? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because you wouldn't do that to somebody else. It doesn't make sense because you're looking at this going, okay, like there are extreme situations where when someone is dangerous, acting dangerously around the kids, like the healthy response is, we just need to have a break here for a sec. Like, you got to get healthy. This is like not cool. And you would do anything you can to like take care of the other person, make sure they get better, make sure they're well, make sure they're safe. These people, like, they would never do that for anybody else, but they also want to create like the most unsafe emotionally and otherwise things for like the mother of their children. And if you think of somebody going, what is the point? Why would you do this? We just broke up. You're like, I just left. Like, I had to leave. It was unsafe. It was dangerous. It was really bad for everybody else. Now, okay, just be decent. And it's like again, it's almost going back or is going back to you're expecting the same fucking breadcrumbs of decency. Like just be decent. I know people who have treated their ex-wife like, and I was actually sort of like, maybe the term is like butthurt when I would hear about it. I'm like, well, you're giving her a little bit too much. You know what I'm thinking? No, you're being a decent, more than decent person. You're taking care of the mother of your child, even though the relationship didn't work, because you're a good human and it's the right thing to do. And I had just been in these worlds where just like the other parent is so royally trying to fuck you like left upside down and sideways that when they did give you like a little something, you're like, okay, well, they're good. They're a decent person. I just sort of like went on a tangent there because there's like like that's where it's like going back to like I want to unfuck myself. The fuckery that happens, as you say, is that's the only way to describe it. It just is like all of the mind fuckery, control, and the post separation. We said this before we went online. You don't know what post separation abuse is until you are out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's so much power and control. They don't actually want to let you go. They want to maintain the control over you. They don't want you. They don't want to love you properly, but they want to maintain the control over you. And they will punish you I started saying on my page, for as long as we both shall live. That's the new slogan. I will punish you for as long as we both shall live. So yeah, the post-separation abuse in the first one was, I think, more financial and through my children. You know, he turned my children against me. The second one was more sort of stalkery and also financial. They really like to drag things out and just kind of be in your orbit to kind of let you know that they're around, and also parading the new person around to make you think that you're replaceable, to make you think you're easily to throw away. And I really want people to know that the new person isn't getting some new version of them that you longed for, that you waited for, and now they're showing up with that new person. It's the same person wearing the mask that you saw in the beginning. You became too easy to see their manipulation, so now they needed somebody new that didn't quite see them yet for who they are.
That is such an important thing that you just said, because you're going to feel this way at some point, besties, because your ex is going to move on real quick.
Really fast.
You're like, oh, like
the bed is not even warm yet, or not even cold yet. And there's someone new in there.
Yeah. You're like, oh, whoa, shit. Well, hello. So that's going to happen. It's like lightning flash in front of you. So just be prepared. I'm letting you know, and it's going to sting. And then, you're like, that it really will hurt. It's not going to feel good. And then you're going to just go back into your self-doubt and self-worth. And you're going to feel like you've got, that blown out body from having kids, or all the things that they've told you, all the nasty things that live rent-free in your brain are going to come back up, and you're going to start self-loathing and not feeling really good about yourself. But we're going to stop you right there, because what Amy just said is so important. The mask is only on, and that person is going to think, and just know this. He's going to tell them you're crazy, you're a bitch, you're this, you're all the things you used to hear about the other ex. They're now saying about you, and they're lapping it up. They're believing it. They're drinking the Kool-Aid, the cunt Kool-Aid. And I really just, it hurts. But
I think something else that's so interesting for everyone to hear is they really don't have a soul. They really are empty people. And so when they meet you, they don't meet people who are empty. They meet people who are full of life, and they're typically beautiful and wonderful, and they have a lot of skills, and they are, there's a lot to offer in the people that they choose, right? And they're gaining something from those people. They will, they meet you, they get a relationship with you, and they suck you dry, right? It's important to know that, because you're actually in love with yourself. Because what they do when they meet the new person, they're using all the things that they learned from you on the new person. So you're really, if you boil it down to the very finest of fine, you're really in love with yourself. You just have to find that self and build her back up.
Oh.
Because he just sucked you dry, and he's using those things to pull the new one in.
A healthy person isn't wanting to see you suffer. There are healthy divorces where, it's a little, nothing's like amazing. It hurts. A divorce, there's going to be a little blah. But then for the most part, people can just sort of be like, we're good. Hope she's well. I want to do everything I can to support that person. And, I look at my exes. I have a few of exes, and I wish them all the best in the world. I literally I hope you're happy. I hope you found peace. I hope, that's the normal response. So, just knowing that they sit there and they're like, I almost feel like they're like, how do I fuck with her today? How do I make her feel bad today? Or that's the real part. So how do we protect our peace during this? We're aware that we're in a post-separation. How do you protect your peace in the post-apocalypse?
I really think it's important for people to have a list. You need to have 2 running lists. You need to have a list of all the things that were traumatic, disappointing, that didn't feel good, manipulative, gaslighting. You need to have a list, because the longer that you're out, the more things will come back to you, and that list is going to grow really long. And then another list that is the things that you love about them. And that list is going to be surprisingly short. This list that is long, you're going to need to revisit it pretty regularly, because you're going to want to go back. You're going to start to romanticize, and you're going to forget the bad things, and you're going to need to pull that list out. It's so important, because we get amnesia. We literally think we're going to die without them, even in the bullshit that they're doing, even in the stalking. Even we think they're stalking because they really love us. They don't. They just want possession. So I think it's so important to have the list. First and foremost, I tell all my clients to start with that list and dig deep on yourself, because this person is showing you, they're holding a mirror up to show you there's something within you that needs to be healed. It's actually not them. It's something from childhood. So dig deep and heal those wounds.
Because it does feel, when you look back, when you romanticize it, it's like this euphoria of like,
oh, it was so good. It was so good. And then when you do reconnect, right? If you do go back for that moment, it feels like, it does feel euphoric, right? And then you're right back in the shit. You're right back in the shit.
We say this all the time. And if you've gone back, there's no shame in going back. There's no shame in staying. There's no shame in wherever you are, right? We know that in DV, it's like an average of 7 times, but all of those facts matter, but then they don't matter, because wherever you are right now is where we're meeting you. And knowing that it is euphoric, and knowing that when you went back and you had that moment of, they're back in the cycle. It is just 3 parts. The cycle is not a giant freaking thing. It's 3 parts: value, devalue, like love bomb. That's
Devalue, discard. Yeah.
that's LDD. LDD. That's all you need to remember. And
That's
sometimes that love bombing can go on for a long time. And that's where you have to be careful. And then sometimes it could be like 1 minute, and I've had it where you're just like, fuck, well, that was quick. And the more you can recognize the behavior, but then I'm also hearing this more importantly, the more we can recognize, go back to that list, but just start recognizing the feelings that we feel in ourselves. That, how do you feel when you're around that person?
Yeah.
What's the triggers, or what is their body, or are you doing things you wouldn't normally do? Are you changing yourself, shrinking yourself to fit in their world?
I really started to notice how my body, our body always knows before our mind knows. Our mind takes longer to catch up. So our body, when your body feels anxiety, when you start to get sick, when you start to have ailments, your body's trying to tell you something. It might whisper at first and it will scream eventually. So what I noticed, I went back 4 times. What I noticed when I was out, I felt free. I felt like I could be myself. I could explore new hobbies, meet new friends. I could just be at peace. When I went back, there was that moment of euphoria. My body felt hypervigilant again. I lost all that freedom that I was experiencing. I had to give up the hobbies again. I felt small again. And it happened every time. And I had to really acknowledge that my body knew every time I walked in that door, it was the same exact thing. And how many times did I need to experience that to realize it was never going to change?
Mm,
And I liked the freedom. I loved the freedom.
yes,
It's a cage.
it is. It is. It's so good. Y'all, if you on the other side of this, I'm telling you, it's going to take a minute, but you're going to get there. And when you can walk into your own space, no matter like, look, if you had a big ass house and you're living in just a room, that room feels like Taj Mahal
It does.
when you have peace.
It literally does. I left everything. I took very little the last time because I just couldn't be
Yeah.
bothered. And I rented a place that was furnished. I have not much and I don't care because it's mine.
Yeah, and your peace, like, I
Yeah.
almost wondered too, I'd had all this, my experience was anything that I liked or that I expressed interest in liking will end up being broken. And so got to the point where I couldn't receive. It's taking me, I'm still learning this. I just stopped wanting to ask for anything and out of absolute fear. If it was a necklace, it was going to be ripped off my neck. If it was something, like a sculpture, it was going to be smashed. It really was so painful. And I'm working on that now like, I used to think, no, I don't need anything. Don't worry. Don't get me anything. Fuck that. The only reason I was saying it is because I didn't want to have the disappointment and the sadness I would feel when it would go away. I love gifts. I love receiving cards. I love receiving these things. And I felt for so many years, no, I don't want anything. Don't worry about it. I'm good. I was just protecting myself. And, don't worry about celebrating me. Don't worry about, oh, don't do anything. Yes, I want to be celebrated. I want, to Mother's Day to be like Mother's Day. I want all these things. And I spent so many years just shrinking and feeling like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I freaking love, have a birthday month. Have it.
But your partner should want to
Yes.
celebrate you and you want to celebrate
Yes.
them. If that's what you want, right? You want a partner who sees you.
Yes.
Yeah. So important. A partner who sees
It's
you.
like, okay, so then
Mhm.
when you're finding yourself in that, in that relationship, when you come out, like again, it feels so good, and it's okay. We can love ourselves. I love how you said that as well. Loving ourselves is so important because we're with ourselves 24 hours a day. And if we can't see the value in ourselves, if we don't like, then how do we expect anybody to do it with us or for us? Or, that's not going to happen. So, man, I want to talk a little bit about something that you've said. Um, Fear was your first language. Explain that to us and how that could put us into a position.
That was my childhood experience. Really, my parents didn't communicate other than sort of hellfire and brimstone. I was very hyper vigilant growing up. I remember I grew up in a very very tiny house in poverty. I was always on high alert. I didn't want to ask because I would get in trouble for pretty much anything. A boy brought me flowers when I was 11 and I would get spanked. I didn't say hi to my dad walking past him and I would get spanked, right? You had to be grateful for everything. I would be punished for breathing. It was a terrifying home to live in. I had a sense of coming off the school bus and kind of not even touching the doorknob and knowing what the vibe was inside before even going in. So I was babysitting at a family down the street to earn money when I was 14. And I came home to tell my mom that the dad kissed me, and she just said, "Don't tell your dad." So my mom was afraid of my dad, and they let me go back. And my dad had told me later that he had a sense because the Lord told him to go look in the window because he thought I was being hurt and he just couldn't be bothered. So I felt sort of like a tribute. They just wanted me out of the way. So they sent me to get sexually abused for 2 years, and just, I wasn't worth protecting. So it was very much a fear based religion. If you don't get it right, you're going to go to hell. But I don't know how to get it right because no one's telling me how to get it right. Everything I do, I'm going to get punished. So fear was what I learned to be love. That's the best way that I can express it. So going into relationships, I wasn't going to raise concerns that I had. I wasn't going to ask for my needs to be met. I wasn't going to ask for something that I liked because I didn't know how. I never learned how.
The fear is so real. And when you're fearful of your partner and we were fearful of asking things, I've shared this before. I used to rehearse the things I would ask for, and the things I was asking for were fucking basic. I couldn't even imagine asking for like something big. And if I did, it'd be like, give me a business plan, put it together in an Excel spreadsheet. Well, I don't know how to use Excel. Well, don't know how to help you.
I used sex. That's all I knew how to do. So in my first relationship, I would say, I bought something today so I could pay it off later. Or I would want to do something, so maybe we could just have sex. Or you could, like, that's literally how I did my relationship. And I would have sex every other day. I knew I had to, whether I wanted to or not. If I skipped Tuesday and I didn't want to Wednesday, like I really didn't want to, I knew it was happening Thursday, whether I wanted to or not. And it was how I spoke to my friends. If we were out and my friend was having an argument with her husband, I'm like, well, just go home and sleep with them. Like, that fixes everything. It's literally how I knew to do a relationship, because that's what I learned being sexually abused and not having a voice. So for my first husband in marriage counseling, he was like, I don't understand what's happening because I love this relationship. And I was like, you're crazy. Like, everything for him was fantastic.
Right. He's like, I get blowies Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There's nothing wrong here.
This is amazing. And I was like, I'm out of here.
Yes. I thank you for saying that, because we learn to manipulate as well. And we use, we learn to use our bodies. We use, like, again, a healthy sexual relationship is fun. You're excited. It's all into it. That's another show. That's Bitch is a Rad Word. And so when we're on Bad Word, though, it's okay. We, like, if you're using it, if you're being, and then can also be flipped. You've got women who are being sexually coerced, and they're having to do this because if they don't give their man the sex that he's demanding, then the next day is like, it sucks.
Well, it was both for me, right? I would pay it off just so I didn't get in trouble. And I also knew that it was expected of me. So I wasn't manipulating him. I didn't have words to use money to purchase things. I would buy things. And so in order to not get in trouble, I would just pay them off with sex.
And listen, like, you're a grown ass married woman worried about getting in trouble. Like, that's the red flag.
Yeah.
That you only see now. We're going to start taking down the red flags that were once decorating your apartment one by one and untangling those Christmas lights, as you were saying, because and you do these things. And again, no shame. Like, it's all you only know what you know. And so it's like sitting here going, okay, if this tracks with you, if you're finding yourself in a relationship with somebody where sex is expected or sex is a means to not be in trouble, you're not in a healthy relationship.
No, you're not in a healthy relationship.
And it's dangerous too, because I mean, my heart goes out to young Amy, who wasn't protected and was put in a situation. Like, I love her. I hope that.
I feel so bad for her. now. I know people used to say that to me, like, you need to feel bad for your younger self. And I didn't really understand it. Now, having learned what self love is, I kind of hate that word. It's just so corny. But now, having really learned what it is, I feel so bad for how she threw herself at people because I really didn't know any better. Just feel so sad for her. Yeah. And the fact that people used me, like the fact that people just did that is wild
Right. Like that's what
to
the
me.
accountability. Cause I mean, yeah, I had the same thing. Like when I was younger, I just did dumb shit. And because no one
Mhm.
really cared, no one
Yeah.
was paying attention. And then I would find myself in these situations like, well, fuck you for being like, why are you taking advantage? So like, but at the time I didn't know what it was. I was just like, well, I guess this is just the way that it goes. And I've shared this story before when I was raped right after I lost my virginity, and I didn't say anything. I kind of knew the person. They walked into the house where we were like at a college person's house, and we were not college age. And I was sleeping on the couch, and he did it. And I didn't scream. I didn't say no. I just let it happen. And then I went and I walked him out. And I remember very vividly opening one door, and then there was a screen door. So I opened that door, then I opened the screen door. He kissed me and he told me to lock the door behind me. And you know what's like really fucked up is I was like, oh, he's caring about my safety. This adult, he was an adult, just raped an underage girl. And I felt like he was, well, look, he's telling me to lock the door behind me. I took a shower, I went back on the couch and I went to sleep. I didn't have a feeling about it one way or the other, really. I didn't, that's like, I just let it happen and
Wow.
then moved on with my day or moved on. Like I probably went out that night and got drunk and tried to forget about
Suppressed
it,
it. Yeah.
suppressed, like, let's just do a cake stand. Let's like a good time, Lindsay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
But
yeah.
looking back and like coming to the healing part of like, oh my God, that's what it was. I had no one to talk to about it. But I also felt like who would care anyway to hear? So you do these things and then, you then again, in any relationship where there was any sort of emotional abuse, physical abuse, I was always taking care of the other person, even after they had done the most heinous things.
Yes. Yes. Something that was life changing for me was, we spend so much time thinking, is he going to change? Why does he do that? Why does he keep doing this? And something was so life changing was asking, do I like it? It doesn't matter why he does it. It doesn't matter if he's going to change. Like, do I like the behavior? Do I want to stay here if it never changes? Because if I don't like it, I get to do something different. I don't have to decode it at all. I don't have to wait for him to change because he's not going to. I promise you, like 20% of people might change, they don't change. Do I like it? If it's this way next year, in 5 years, in 20 years, do I still want to be here doing the same thing? Do I like it? And if I don't, I can make a different choice. Life changing. I never knew I had a choice.
That is life changing. And it's such a simple
So
question.
simple.
But like how
Mhm.
complicated it is for somebody like growing up in our like clearly shared experiences where you're like, I don't know. I don't even know what I like. So first, I guess you got to figure out what you like because I'm like, I don't know.
I don't like this. I know
Yeah.
that.
So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But no, I don't like this.
Mhm.
And you have autonomy. You do. And you can get
Yeah.
up and you can go. You can have kids
Yeah.
together. You can have dogs together, cats together, ferrets together, nothing together. You have any opportunity to just go. And we were told and conditioned for so long to be polite, stay anyway, give creepy Uncle Handsy a hug, just go, just suck it up, be nice. We're told all of these things, this horrible shit that boys are not told. And we're, so of course we're going to expect this. And then if we were never told otherwise, if we were never looked out for, if your dad was supposed to go into that, like fucking bulldoze through that fucking window and pull you out and do whatever the fuck that other guy needed. Like he was supposed to be your hero. And he wasn't. He was your villain. And then here we are. I want to talk about this too. The fake outs. So when you're in a relationship with somebody, and this is what I went through and we were hearing a lot, is like this future faking. Like these just like the fake things that they promise. They talk to me about. You're like, I can't decide if you're going to barf or you're like, oh, the future faking.
Oh, the future faking. I just commented on a post. I'm like, I'm going to make a post about it. Oh my God, the future faking, because they're not going to change, right? They want you to believe they're going to change. And so it's sort of like dangling the carrot in front of you to keep you hoping. It's part of our pathological hope. We waited for our parents to change. If we just behave better, hang on longer, that they're going to change and love us more. And so they do this in relationship. My ex-husband, got very angry with me when I was taking dance lessons, right? We separated several times. And in one of the separations, I started taking dance lessons with a friend of mine. He didn't like the friend. I wasn't going to give up the hobby because I was still finding my freedom, but he didn't like that, raged at me, held me in the bathroom, wouldn't let me out. And after that, he was like, but that wasn't me. That wasn't me. I'm not going to he was taking testosterone or something. I don't know. I'm not going to take that. That wasn't me. That's not me. I'm going to therapy. It'll be better. You just have to wait and see. You have to wait to see that it'll be better. And I'm like, well, if I wait to see, how do I know until it happens again? Like you're just constantly hanging on, right? You're waiting for the future until it happens again, but you're just stuck in the cycle, right? You're waiting for therapy to see if they get better, but until it happens again. So future faking is just something to keep you there while they keep doing their shitty behavior. You might get a month of good behavior, 2, 3, maybe, but ultimately they're going to default to the behavior that they have because that's who they are. Yeah, future faking is a good one.
And it's important to know, tactic. Like maybe this is if you're in a situation where somebody's doing this to you and you're being future faked, it's okay to say, you know what? Hey, I'm going to step back from this relationship. I'm going to leave. You fuck around and find out with whatever is going on. You fix it. You get better, and then we can have a conversation, or we can talk about it and get. I mean, like let's be real. It's not going to happen, and they're going to do everything they can to manipulate you. But I wish that it was just so easy to say, well, I'll be like, give me a call when you figured it out.
Actions and words have to align. Oh. It's one of the things that's so important when you're trying to figure out what's happening for gaslighting or for future faking or for any of these tactics that they use. It's all strategic. So when you're trying to figure out what's going on, I'm so confused, the actions have to match the words. So if they say they love you and they're behaving a fool, they say they love you and they're out messing around or doing something different, they're not matching. And that's all you need to know. Because if you're in a consistent, safe relationship, they match. Full stop. Full stop.
It's like so easy when we break it down like this, right?
Well, it's easy because I'm out, right? It's not easy when you're in it. When you're in it, it's crazy making intentionally so that you stay.
Yes, that's what it is too. Mm-hmm. They're really good at just keeping you constantly confused. And the gaslighting is, again, all these terms are being so used that like sometimes they lose their meaning, just sort of like back in the day when everybody was a psycho, but you're not like, narcissist is being overused. Like gaslighting doesn't really make sense until maybe you've seen the movie and understand like what's happening. But when they're manipulating the shit out of the reality so much that you were clearly doubting yourself. I have experiences or had experiences all the time. And sometimes in like various things that we have to communicate with, like after the fact, I'm always like, there's no way that happened. There's no way that happened. And they're like, yeah, it did. And then they go immediately to the one little bad behavior or that one little nuance where, like whatever, you reacted, you said something, and it becomes all about that little, you know, thing that you
Yeah.
did wrong, or, or whatever, that little like slide that you did, your slip or whatever. And so
Mhm.
then they're so good at refocusing on, okay, well,
Mhm.
you,
Yeah.
and then you're so tired by the end of that mind fuck
Mhm.
that you don't really like, I don't even want to go back to whatever, but that thing is still nagging in you. Like I spent so much time feeling like a total crazy person. And I do think that this is how people can go crazy. I do believe this. I'd stayed any
Mhm.
longer, I could have gone crazy because I would sit after all that shit would happen. I would be like, naturally, my brain would go back to, Linz, this hasn't been resolved yet. Like that didn't happen. And then you're like, here, I have like a CVS receipt of all the
Mhm.
things that I was trying to say earlier, but I couldn't say it because remember, I can't communicate because I'm a bad communicator because you told me that. And then
Mhm.
you show them like this shit, and then they're like, that's crazy. Look at you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just sitting
No,
here,
it's
just,
blame
yeah,
shifting. It's blame shifting when you bring up something and they put it back on you so they can avoid talking about the thing that you're bringing up.
yeah. And you're like, wait, I just want to talk about this one thing. And then,
You never get to that thing because they always put it back on the thing that you did. So it's important to say, we can talk about the thing that I did, but right now we're talking about this.
yeah.
Right now we're talking about what you did. We can talk about this later. We're talking about this.
But that would assume that you're with like a healthy person.
I mean, that would assume that, yeah,
That they give a
they're
fuck.
not going to go
They
for
don't
it.
care.
They're just
They
not.
don't
Yeah.
care. And like there's
No,
nothing
they don't.
worse than be like when you have the courage to like go and say, hey, you know what? This really hurt me. And then someone's
Mhm.
like, well, let me tell you what you did 17 Thursdays ago. And you're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
So it is messy too. When we're with someone like that, we do actually take on some mirroring behaviors. So we don't become narcissists, but we do take on like narcissistic defenses. So we start to mirror the behavior. So it becomes toxic on both
Yeah.
sides.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yes.
so it becomes
Mm.
messy, right? So they can say, well, you did this. Well, yeah, I did do that. And it just is so messy to untangle because we can point the fingers at both and we have to get out because you get out, you get healthy. They don't change.
Oh my gosh. I love that you said that too, because thank you, because I don't think I've heard that. We haven't heard that yet. Let me know and send me a message if you've heard this before, but I don't think we've heard it that way, described that way, because that's oftentimes why you get tricked into staying because you feel like you're part of the problem because you've behaved in ways that you wouldn't normally behave.
Absolutely. You have to survive. You actually have to learn how to manipulate back to survive. You're not going to go home and say, well, I did this, knowing you're going to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So you lie,
Mm-hmm.
right? You start to do mirroring behaviors to survive in that relationship. There's no other way to survive. So they're narcissistic defenses. We mirror back what we've learned there.
That you wouldn't normally
There's no
do
other way.
otherwise.
Mm-mm. Correct. Yep. It's how we survive.
I
So you feel, I hear clients, right? I did it
yeah.
too. We hear clients who will say, I think I'm the narcissist. I have questioned. I'm like, I think I'm the narcissist. But narcissists don't question that. So if you ask yourself that question, you're not.
I have asked myself that.
They don't
So
they don't self-reflect.
oh my God. I used to ask, I was like, wait, what? Like, am I the problem? I've done it in like business relationships and friendships. Like it's not just in romantic partners. And that's what other thing that I learned is that until I really truly continue to work on this shit, I'm going to attract these people in all areas of my life. It's not just the romantic partner. And so you find yourself like not standing up for yourself in work or not standing up to a friend or not doing this or like, again, we're like walking on the eggshells that are sprinkled everywhere because it feels good. You're like, well, I know how to do this. I know how to walk
Yeah.
on these. And so I really say that to just be mindful of that until you've healed those wounds, and until you've really addressed, and it's okay, we're a work in progress for the rest of our lives, we are susceptible to these people kind of just wormholing into our life, and also not recognizing it right away, because you're like, oh, again, oh, look, another knock, knock, knock. You look really familiar. Hi, come
They're so
come
good.
fuck with me. And then they leave, and you're like, fuck, I did it again. God damn it. I do the same. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally, like, I want my circle to be freaking so tight. What's interesting is so I'm Canadian, and my, like, Leonard Cohen, which, okay, now we hear he might not have been such a nice guy, but like there's a quote I quoted in my head all the time, and I've learned now that this is how I justified bad behavior, but I thought it was beautiful and poetic. And so it was, ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering, there is a crack in everything, that is how the light gets in. And I really believed that crack, just that little bit of light, was like enough for me to shine and grow and flowers can bloom. And now I'm realizing, like, that was my fucking motto. My philosophy was the crack. Oh God, like, oh, Lynn.
Whatever. It's just a crack.
Yes, like, oh, lens. So I used to think that way. And that's just, I felt inspired to share that, but it was like the things that we believe, these
Mhm.
stories that we tell ourselves, the
Yeah.
relationships that remind us of home, and the people that are put in our life that, you look at healthy people. And I used to sort of be voyeuristic on, like, oh, look at these healthy people with, like, the healthy family and healthy.
Oh,
how, do,
must have had a nice
how do
childhood.
we get that? How do we get there in my next life? But no, we can fix it now. We can fix it. We're not,
Yes.
we can build back better and stronger.
It's it's a lot of work, but it's worth it.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kintsugi your life back. Fill the
Mhm.
cracks. We don't need
Fill the cracks.
filling the cracks.
Fill the cracks.
And you
Yeah.
have filled a lot of cracks. You're a baddie. I love this conversation. We haven't
Yeah.
even touched on things that, I mean, you're a cancer survivor. You are a 2-time narc-recovery expert, pathological person, and you've been through a lot of shit, and
Yeah.
you're out there turning your pain into purpose, which I just admire so much, to
Yeah.
know that, you are changing someone's life. You are inspiring somebody to do the hard things that they're going to need to do. So thank you for that
Thanks.
contribution to the world.
I hope that it's helpful for someone. I said someone somewhere. I hope it. I know that it wasn't for nothing.
No.
I have been through a lot, and I know for a fact that it wasn't for nothing.
So I ask always, if there was a tool that you could put in our besties toolkit, what would it be?
In any specific way, or just to?
Yeah, it can just be, a thought, or, something that brings you power, encouragement, or like a resource too. Be like, this is the thing that saved me, or helped me, or
I really believe, and I think it's sometimes hard to understand what this is, but to stop abandoning, right? To heal that abandonment wound, you need to stop abandoning yourself. And what that means, when we talked earlier, right, when you were talking about taking care of everybody and never focusing on yourself, never caring for yourself, right? It really is going within and saying, what about me? Maybe I put me first this time. Maybe it's not selfish, because we can't make any moves forward until we stop self abandoning. It's the first step to any of this.
well, I want to. I definitely need to have you back. I also want to invite you to join. It's not a cult or anything that requires any, like, organization of things. Maybe we will all organize somewhere at some point. But I am building a band of bitches, and I would like to invite you to join our BFF, which are the bitches fighting for freedom. No initiation fee. You just become a bestie. You become a BFF for our Bestie Gang.
I love it. I love it. I'd be happy
You
to.
are a bitch fighting for freedom in the best way possible.
I am. I am a bitch fighting for freedom for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Okay. I'm going to have you back, and I'd love for our besties to be able to find you. So where can we find you?
Yeah. My website is amywatkinsstudio.com. And there's a link tree on my Instagram with all my different um, locations. There's coaching. If anyone wants to reach out and work with me personally, there's coaching. I do therapy in Pennsylvania. Um,
And
yeah, would love to work with
your
anyone.
Instagram again is?
Oh, at Ms. MS. We're not Mrs. Ms. Emotionally Slutty.
Yay. Dirty.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My absolute pleasure. I am so grateful to you for joining us today on this episode of Bitch is a Bad Word. I loved our conversation with Amy. She is a newest member of the Bestie Gang. I really enjoyed how she was so incredibly authentic, how she is telling us all about just really it's okay to have a messy story. And it's okay to realize that because of our childhood and pain that we haven't healed and wounds that are still open, and we're susceptible. And the inspiring part is that we can fix those things, and we have the power and the autonomy to truly learn how to love ourselves, because that's where it starts. It starts from us. You have it in you. We all do. We just have maybe spent a really long time not knowing that. And so loving yourself is not selfish. It's good. It's a really good thing. And we're learning that maybe not loving yourselves, and people who don't love themselves and people who are wounded are some of the most narcissistic, evil people. And I love you. I'm so grateful to every single person who's listening right now. If you are feeling alone and this is really hectic, just know we've got your back. We're here for you. We love you. Thank you for being part of the Bestie Gang. As always, if you are in any danger whatsoever, there is no safety in staying silent. Use 911, crash on a friend's couch, do whatever you have to do to get safe. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at thehotline.org. Besties are standing by to answer your call anonymously. They've got your back. And you can reach them at 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-SAFE. You can find us on Instagram at Bitch is a Bad Word Pod. TikTok and YouTube is Bitch is a Bad Word. Send me your texties from your exties. Drop them in my DMs. Send them on our phone number, which is 331 bitches. There's lots. I have to remember a lot of things, y'all. And it's getting close to having to go do carpool. So my mind is like, oh, wait, gotta get this done. But 331 bitches. I answer all of our messages personally. We'd love to hear from you. And please do like, share, subscribe, review, all the things that helps us really just feel like we're going in the right direction. We're doing the damn thing for you. We love you. We've got your back. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/bitch is a bad word. There is a big bad bestie gang being built over there. So many women are connecting, rebuilding their network, which means that you're rebuilding your net worth. And there's free tiers, there's paid tiers. Paid tiers give you early access, ad-free episodes, merch, discounts, merch drops, all the things. But the free tiers are just as awesome too. So please join it. And also you can gift. I don't think I've said this in a really long time. You can gift a membership of Patreon to somebody as well if you feel like there's a baddie who needs that help. And our Discord server is private. We vet everybody. It's completely as private and safe as we can make it. So again, we drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, but we will see you next Thursday. We will see you next Tuesday, besties. Bye. Our editor is Kevin Mackler. Our music was composed by Drew Kevorkian. Our art design was created by Eric Johnson and Kevin Roche. Our interns are baddies, and this has been a Caliber Studios production. Bitches being bad.